The Tucker Snowcat, 4 independent tracks instead of wheels, built by Tucker Snowcat Corporation in Oregon since 1949. In 1958, Sir Vivian Fuchs drove a snowcat across the entire Antarctic continent, the first land crossing in history. 4 tracks spread the vehicle's weight across a massive surface area, so it barely sinks into soft snow even on the weakest ice. 75 years on, McMurdo Station still uses snowcats. No other Antarctic vehicle has matched its reliability across that span of time. The Pistenbully 300 Polar, a German-engineered snow groomer built by Kessbohrer Geländefahrzeug. It drags a wide rear blade and tiller that compacts and flattens snow and ice into a firm, level surface, creating runways aircraft can actually land on. Snowdrifts and wind erosion rebuild surfaces overnight. The Pistenbully runs daily circuits, sometimes in total darkness and -40 conditions, to keep every surface passable. The Pistenbully also maintains the vehicle paths between station buildings, essential when a 100-knot blizzard buries everything overnight. Ivan the Terra bus, a Foremost Delta III bus, bright orange and white, 6 massive low-pressure tires, 23 tons, 24 feet high. From 1994 to 2024, Ivan transported scientists, crew, and equipment between McMurdo Station's airfield and the research base across frozen terrain. The enormous low-pressure tires, each over 5 feet tall, distribute the bus's weight to prevent it sinking through the sea ice it drives on. Ivan was retired in 2024 after 30 years of service. It became so beloved by Antarctic crews that it has its own Wikipedia page and merchandise. The Hägglunds BV-206, a Swedish articulated tracked carrier used by Antarctic research teams from multiple nations. 2 separate units connected by a hydraulic joint. The front unit steers, the rear follows. Together, they distribute weight across 4 separate track surfaces. It is fully amphibious. Drive it off an ice shelf into open water and it floats, propelled by its tracks churning against the surface. No suspension, no differential, just tracks on ice. It can climb a 60-degree slope and operate in temperatures below -50 degrees Celsius. The LC-130 Hercules, a modified C-130 cargo aircraft fitted with retractable skis mounted alongside its conventional wheeled undercarriage. It flies cargo and personnel between McMurdo Station and the Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station, a round trip that no other aircraft can reliably complete. At McMurdo, it lands on a groomed ice runway on its wheels. At the South Pole, it lands on natural compacted snow using skis, and if the snow is too soft, JATO rocket assist bottles blast it airborne anyway. The U.S. Navy has operated LC-130s in Antarctica since 1960. They remain the logistical backbone of the entire U.S. Antarctic program. The Prinoth Husky, a tracked polar supply vehicle manufactured by Prinoth, an Italian company specializing in snow and ice equipment. It is used for supply runs between Antarctic research stations, carrying equipment and materials across terrain with no roads, no paths, and no landmarks. The hydraulic systems and engine fluids are specifically engineered to remain operational at -40 and below, temperatures that crack conventional seals and destroy standard engines. Where wheeled vehicles sink and wheeled transport fails, the Prinoth Husky keeps moving, because in Antarctica, a vehicle that stops in the wrong place can kill the people who depend on it. The Antarctic Rover, an unmanned autonomous ground vehicle designed to conduct scientific surveys in areas too remote or too dangerous for human teams. It carries ground-penetrating radar, GPS, temperature sensors, and ice sampling systems, collecting continuous data across hundreds of kilometers without needing a human aboard. The zones it surveys include crevasse fields, thin ice areas, and deep interior regions where a crewed vehicle would represent an unacceptable risk to human life. The data it collects, ice thickness maps, temperature profiles, subsurface geological surveys, feeds directly into global climate models. This machine is helping measure how fast Antarctica is melting. The RRS, Sir David Attenborough, a British polar research vessel launched in 2019, operated by the British Antarctic Survey. The bow rides up onto pack ice and lets the ship's own weight, over 15,000 tons, crush through it. In heavy pack, it forces a channel for other vessels to follow. The hull is reinforced red steel. The red not just for visibility, but for specific ice-grade metallurgy that resists cracking in temperatures that would shatter conventional ship steel. It carries scientists, supplies, and equipment to British Antarctic bases, including Rothera, and it contains onboard laboratories so researchers can work throughout the voyage. 1939, the United States Antarctic Service expedition. They built a vehicle that was 56 feet long, 37 tons, and powered by 2 diesel engines. They called it the Antarctic Snow Cruiser. The tires were enormous, 10 feet in diameter, and completely smooth. No tread. The designers believed smooth tires would not clog with ice. They were catastrophically wrong. The moment it reached the ice, the tires spun freely and sank 3 feet into the snow. It could not move forward at all. The crew discovered it actually worked better in reverse. The longest journey it ever completed, 92 miles, was driven entirely backwards. Then it was abandoned, converted into a stationary research hut, and left when World War II began. 8 vehicles that work, 1 that never did, all of them built for the most hostile surface on the planet. The snow cruiser cost the equivalent of $2.5 million, never completed a single forward mile, and is most likely sitting at the bottom of the Southern Ocean right now. Everything else on this list is still running, keeping scientists alive on a continent where one mechanical failure can end a life. Subscribe, because the next video goes inside the stations these vehicles supply.